Hello, this is William Bowman, and I'm recording this video for you guys over at Brad's Tree Service. Thank you so much for allowing me to record this video. I would really appreciate it if you guys had some time to drop me some feedback on how I can maybe make this video better, so that, maybe I can explain something better so that you guys can actually implement it yourselves. So that's kind of what I'm after. So if you notice an area that you're like, man, I wish you would have explained that a little bit better, please let me know. Or if you think that I maybe could have added something else that's different, please feel free to let me know. That's kind of what I'm after here. So when I want to talk about your specific site, and the volume of clients that are, searching for your services digitally, and what your competitors are doing right now to earn a big portion of that volume. And then I also want to talk about things that you're currently doing to win some of that volume as well, because I did notice that you guys are doing some things that are working pretty well for yourselves. So the first thing is, coming through your website. I like the design of your website. I like that you guys have pictures. You guys, are talking about how many years of experience you guys have. You guys, affordable, maybe spell check that one. But then, and speaking of, spell checking or, words, that's the one thing that I did notice. You guys probably want to amp up the number of words that you guys have on the page. What's usually recommended is anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 words on the front page, and then, 5 to 750 words on any of the back service pages. For your specific industry in your area, I honestly think that 1,000 to 1,500 is overkill, because there just isn't other companies doing that amount of content. Google does consider content to be king. So I would say maybe 500 to 750 words for the front page, and maybe 500 words on any of the back pages. And I do recommend that if you do have some time to pop in and, make some of these, trimming trees, stump removal, tree trimming, or tree pruning and tree services, or tree removal, maybe making some of those pages as back end service pages, like as a menu system with this number following you along. But it's not necessary. That's just a suggestion, just because the size of a site can impact how it ranks. But I want to talk about why we add the content, right? So the content is added for a big reason, and that reason is to add in keywords. And keywords are simply just what somebody would throw into Google in order to find your services. So if I threw in, Abilene Tree Service, Texas, then the first thing that I'm going to see, usually at the top, is ads. I'm glad nobody's paying for ads, especially, because a lot of people will just scroll right past those ads. So I'm glad to see nobody's paying for them at the moment. And then we come into the Google Map Pack. This Google Map Pack, this is a good place to be. I see you guys right there. You guys have optimized it to be in the top 3. You can optimize it for like a certain range, as it looks like you guys already know that, within 20 or 30 or 40 miles even, for you guys to always end up in one of these top 3 spots, or even at the top spot. But I don't want to spend too much time going over that, because it looks like you guys already kind of have a handle on that. You guys are doing good managing your reviews, and you even have a link to your website here, which is great for ranking purposes. But what I do want to cover is what's called the organic search area. So this is the area that you can only get to based off of Google's algorithm and these keyword searches. So when somebody searches this, it goes into Google's algorithm, and they determine who's going to be ranking in the top spots. You can't pay to be here. You can pay for advertising at the top or advertising at the bottom, but you can't pay to be in the number 1 spot for organic. You basically have to set up your website correctly. So I want to show you what Thornton is doing to have this top spot. So when we pop in, I'm not going to spend too much time going over their actual website. The reason being is because I'd rather show you behind the scenes the analytics on their website versus yours, so you can see what exactly you can change in order for you to take some of that volume and maybe rank yourselves as number 1 instead. So the one thing that I will point out is that they do have probably about 200, 300 words of content. That's what I would imagine. I'm specifically on their tree removal services page, but if I pop over to their homepage, they have a little bit more content here, probably around the 400 mark. So let's look behind the scenes, right? Let's look at what's going on the background. So I'm going to explain these numbers for you. So there's the UR and the DR. The UR is your URL rating. This is from 0 to 100, both of these numbers. And they're kind of like key indicators to show you kind of how you would compare in your industry or in your area, depending on Google's algorithm and where you would kind of sit on the ranking. So you want these numbers to be as high as possible from 0 to 100. For your specific area, I think a good goal would be probably a UR between 25 and 30 and a DR between 25 and 30 as well. You want to keep a ratio between these. But the UR specifically is a URL rating, and that's kind of like the trustworthiness of your site, if that makes sense. So how Google considers how trustworthy your site to be. And then the DR is basically like the power of your site. So how much reputation or power your site has to throw around. But how do you raise these two numbers, right? If they're indicators to how you're going to rank against your competition, you want them to be higher, but how do you raise them? So one of the biggest methodologies to raising those two numbers is through the usage of backlinks. And backlinks are just simply, imagine if somebody's writing a blog and they say, hey, Brad's tree services are the best in town, go use them. And then they put a link to your specific site. That is an example of a backlink. So it looks like they have about 26 different sites sending them a total of 87 backlinks. So one thing that I do want to note here is that not all backlinks are created equally. It's better to have higher quality backlinks. So a backlink from a industry specific, like a tree service blog or something like that talks about you guys, that's already well established. Or maybe like an award in the tree industry, like an arborist award or something like that. To have a backlink like that is a lot more valuable than to have, your information recorded on the Better Business Bureau. Yes, that's not a bad thing to have. Don't pay for that annual fee, but it definitely is a lot stronger for you to have industry specific backlinks. So that's kind of an example of, quality versus just a regular, just old backlink. And you will notice that these numbers will rise together if you were using only quality backlinks. But if you notice, these are kind of out of whack, and I imagine that's because they have a high number of backlinks, but only some of them are quality. So let's pop in and see, okay, well, we're talking about these numbers. What about the actual keywords that they're actually ranking for? We were talking about the actual words that you would be able to put into Google to find them. Well, of course, their name, you don't want to try and take their name from them. They're going to rank number one from that probably naturally without even trying. But then Abilene Tree Service. So this is an example of what's called a buyer intent keyword. So this is somebody that throws this in here. They're trying to find your services and they don't know which company that they want to use. So this is a good example of a keyword. And I'll show you some other keywords that have higher volume than just 20 a month. And this, honestly, I'd prefer to show you the volumes on Google itself. But I wanted to show you what ranking and what position they were at for some of these keywords, just so you get an idea. When you start getting up to 50 or 31, I know that these have a high volume, but odds are nobody's going to ever make it to their site. And also, even if they did, tree cutting services, that could be national. So somebody in Chicago could search this and find them and not be able to use them because they don't have a site there. So definitely focus on these, what are called buyer intent keywords. So something like these where it's Abilene, Texas, and you can service them if they do find your site or if you guys are ranked number one. But let's go and look at what volumes of keywords that you guys want to target. And then I'll show you your site compared to theirs. So when we pop in, we're going to see tree service Abilene, Texas. That is a great keyword to try and aim for. 100 to about 1,000 average monthly searches that Google's picking up for that specific keyword. So that could mean quite a few customers. And I know the other ones are 10 to 100, which aren't that high, but these can add up and it can be a range. This could potentially be 25, 30. This could potentially be 10. This could be another 15. And if you take the first top 5, you can start building your digital clients and bringing them to you in a different way other than just the GMB. But let's look at your site and see kind of how you guys are doing here. And when we pop over, we see that you're not really bringing in any UR or DR data. That may be because your site is pretty new. Looks like it just started here starting in June, July. At least that's when your first backlink was added. And that's going to take some time there. You're going to want to add some quality backlinks in there. And you're going to want to sprinkle in those keywords because right now the Google really isn't picking up any of the keywords that you want to rank for. So none of this volume can ever make it to you if it's not being picked up. So you definitely want to sprinkle those keywords in there and start adding some backlinks, and that can start making your site into a specific, into a digital asset that can really start bringing clients your direction instead of them all ending up at Thornton's tree service, when they get down to the organic search area. But it is a really good job. I really do like the fact that you guys are here. Whenever you guys are going out and making any of those backlinks, just make sure that you guys are recording the exact same number, the exact same address, and the exact same name of the business, because that will help your site rank as well. But I hope this information was useful. If you have any advice for me or any feedback on how I can make this better, please let me know. I don't mind answering any questions if there was something that you feel like I could have explained better. But thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great day.